tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Beast Hunters Predacons Rising Predacon Skylynx. Available exclusively here in the United States only at Target. And Skylynx here is a repaint of the Beast Hunters Skystalker mold, giving it a more kind of Skylynx sort of look. Although Skylynx shouldn't be a Predacon. He's not a bad guy. And then you come around into the back. As you can see, this does feature the Canadian packaging with the different languages. You got English, French, and I do believe Spanish. Yeah, that looks like Spanish to me. And it says Skylynx is a powerful and chaotic force who lives to serve the Predacon cause. I don't know how much I like that. And then you have Dark Steel here on the bottom. Obviously, you got the Transformer Collector Club, you got all that stuff. Now, I'm really very much on the fence about this because Skylynx should be an Autobot. I've never been a big fan of when they take character names and they interchange them with the different factions. I don't like that much. The paint job on here doesn't look too bad. It does have a very, I guess, Skylynx-esque kind of look to it. I mean, with the blue and then the kind of red bits there, but I do really like the new packaging on here. It's very, very colorful. There's a lot of colors going on here. You got like the purple swirls, you got the very nice blue background, you got Predacons' big orange wings. So, I mean, that's really a kind of neat looking thing. You got his tech specs right there, but nothing really substantial here in the packaging, but there you have it. So, without further ado, let's get it open and see how cool he actually is. So here we have Skylynx open up and out of its packaging. Now, as basically just a straight repaint of Skystalker, there isn't really much different about this. You're not getting a lot of extra paint applications that highlight a lot of the bonus detail. I mean, you do get some, like, for example, inside here, it's actually painted gold, which is pretty nice. You couldn't really make that out before. I mean, you could see the detail, but it was harder to make out, I guess. It just... Something about this figure I'm really not enjoying as much as I actually liked Skystalker. It just, maybe it's the characterization of this guy as Skylynx. I just, something about him, though, it really doesn't work for me, and I find myself a little bit more annoyed with this figure than I was previously with that Skystalker figure. Now, I mean, granted, it's the exact same figure for the most part. So, I really can't honestly articulate why I don't like this one as much. Now, for some comparisons, obviously, here is Skylynx, and here's Skystalker, and I know it's probably going to be hard to see everything because there's a lot of white and blue going on here, but I don't know. Something about this just has a much cooler look to it that makes me really enjoy it. This one, it's the exact same figure, so I do like it in terms of that kind of aspect with the mold and such, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, I just really like Skystalker more. I mean, you can see that their blade thingamajiggers are identical. They got the same tail thing going on. I honestly think that the paint applications on Skystalker are a little bit nicer. I mean, especially with like the feet, you got this very cool bluish tint kind of wash thing going on. You got a nice white wash here on the top of his tail, and then it goes around to being blue, whereas this is just straight white. The feet are just straight blue. It gives a much more Arctic look with this one, and I dig that, I guess. And then it also has the little swirly plastic in here that this one doesn't have, but that was something that they were doing with these kind of figures initially, so they got away from that. But it just doesn't grab me as well as the original. Now, he still has all the same articulation, obviously, because the legs and the arms in robot mode are the legs and arms here in his dragon thingy mode. So you got ball jointed shoulders, moves in and out. The elbows here move forward and back. They rotate around. The wrists here are on ball joints. So good range of motion there. The legs are the exact same thing. You got the ball joint here at the hips. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. They got all these different bends here. You got to bend here, here, and down here at the feet. So you can kind of pose them however you want, but you are more limited, especially if you want to keep his head kind of on an upward angle. The mouth does move up and down, but if you get that all the way up there, it doesn't flop down, so that's not too bad. The wings will rotate outward. Once you get him like here, they're kind of difficult to move, but just because it almost locks in. They kind of tab him, but you can still move them, obviously. It rotates there, so You can get some crazy wing action, but again, the wings are kind of goofy just because they're constantly up. I think I mentioned that also in my Skystalker review. So I don't know how he would fly like this. So it's a weird kind of flying dragon, but I mean, I do like the mold. I just think with the coloring, it looks so much nicer on the Skystalker figure, so that's probably my biggest gripe, I guess. But yeah, I mean, since it is the exact same figure, it does have the exact same transformation, so that's something that we can skip by. So through some movie magic again, we'll go from Skylynx here looking like this to looking like this, and he still kind of looks like that. So, I mean, like I said, there isn't much of a difference, except for me, I just really love the coloring on this so much more. I think it is a much cooler look for this particular figure. I don't know why. I mean, the coloring on this one isn't all that bad. It's just this one just has a much more striking and more, I don't know, vibrant look to it. I really do dig it. Like I said, I like thinking of him as like a frozen dragon sort of thing. So, I mean, that really appeals to me. Now, with Skylynx, like I said, using the name Skylynx, it doesn't bug me all that much, even though that, yes, okay, he's a Predacon. But the colors just really don't work for me. If you're going to call him Skylynx, this should be a much brighter red. This should be a lighter blue. Now, I do understand that maybe they toned it down to make him look more evil because he is a Predacon. So maybe that's why they do it. I don't know. But you can come around here. This piece still comes off. You can still bring it around here. You can still sort of tab it onto his hand somehow. Here, I forgot how I did it, but it can go on there. I mean, I see where the tab is. I just can't get it on there. Come on, there. So you can have him with the club weapon thing. That works. You can also take these and you can rotate these around and shoot these out if you really so desired. Like I said, I prefer doing it where you just push it in here and then just launch it through that way. I love the weapons on this. I love the friction thing as opposed to the spring-loaded gimmick. I think it works so much nicer, and it's such more of a fun kind of actual weapon to sort of incorporate and play with. And then, like I said, I mean, you can rotate these wings however you really want. Although he is a little bit of a difficult figure to get to balance because of the way his legs are. So putting these kind of up over his shoulders like this really does actually help kind of shift the weight from making him lean back to kind of leaning forward a little bit better, but it's not as good, I don't think. And then these little bits here kind of sort of help, I guess. But, I mean, it's not a bad figure. I do still like the mold. There are some issues with it. I mean, it is a little bit of a cumbersome mess to try to get. And you can see that this is a little bit loose. This is kind of loose and floppy here, but hopefully that's just on mine. But I mean, it is a very unique look for a Transformer. I don't think it's necessarily a bad look. That's really starting to bug me. I don't think it's necessarily a bad look, but I think generally speaking, it could be a better figure, I guess. And that opinion has really changed since my original Skystalker review. Having had that for a little while, you know, I'm able to kind of revisit this. I'm able to slightly modify my opinion a little bit. It's not a bad figure. I do like having him, but I really do think that his Dragon mode's the best looking. Robot mode's kind of weak, I guess. The transformation is ridiculously simple. That's not necessarily a bad thing, as I said before. At least in both modes, things are hidden fairly well. I mean, I get asked a lot of times by people, well, why don't you like the Beast Wars figures? Well, when you would transform the robot into a beast, it basically would look like arms were like folded up underneath his chest or something in wolf mode or something. I mean, a lot of it looked kind of ugly, and then when you transformed them into the robot mode, there were animal legs hanging off, and just, it didn't look very cohesive. At least these ones are looking a lot better, I think. But honestly, my opinion on this is that if you're going to get one figure, I really would probably get Skystalker instead of Skylynx. For me, the thing that really sells me more on Skystalker as opposed to Skylynx here is the coloring. I just think it looks a lot better on that Skystalker figure. And as I said, if I'm only going to pick one, I'm going to pick Skystalker. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So if you are interested in picking this guy up, he is a Target exclusive. So your only real chance here in the United States, at least, to pick him up will be at Target stores. So keep your eyes open. They're out now. And until next time, this has been Optibotimus. I want to thank you for tuning in. Keep in touch with me. Find the recent purchases as well as all upcoming video reviews all at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and follow me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.